Dates and end in handcuffs, and not the way you're thinking. Let me tell you a story about a client I had. Let's call her Jane. Jane was out on a date at a 5-star Michelin restaurant, really fancy. She was dressed to the nines in her Louboutin heels, looked beautiful. She was on a date with this guy and they had ordered a couple of glasses of wine and she had had a few too many. They were complaining about the service because their meals came out at different times and it was kind of annoying at this fancy restaurant. So they complained and they end up getting asked to leave. When they're asked to leave, she gets up and knocks something off the table. She then walks out of the restaurant and the owner of the restaurant is yelling at her. Her date takes off and runs and leaves her there. She then takes off her fancy Louboutin heels to run. The owner and his friend start chasing after her. In an effort to defend herself, she swings her heels and whacks him on the head. He's got a bloody cut on his forehead and she takes off running and hides between two nearby buildings. When the police are called, they arrive and end up arresting her for a felony aggravated battery for trying to defend herself as these men were chasing her and her date had taken off and left her there alone. And then enters me. She comes to my office and I meet with her, and at this point she's terrified. She's looking at 5 years in prison and being a convicted felon for the rest of her life. She's a young girl in her early 20s with no priors. So then we start investigating the case and I reach out to the assistant state attorney. After probably a year-long process, I was able to get her felony prison sentence reduced to a misdemeanor probation sentence. She did some community service and some anger management classes and is able to get this sealed and expunged off her record. And the best part of the story is she kicked her crappy date to the curb and now has a new boyfriend.